This is a talk about fly fishing in the Rockies, and two friends, Tom Lee and El Paso builder Charles Level. Hello, I'm Claudia Rivers, and I'm the head of the CL Sonics and Special Collections Department at the University of Texas at El Paso Library. We have a large collection of Tom Lee's papers there, and so I'm pleased to be involved in this program for Tom Lee Month. When Holly Cobb mentioned the theme of this year's Tom Lee Month, Amistad, highlighting Lee's friendships, I immediately thought of Charles and Shirley Level because there's so much about their relationship in the Tom Lee papers. The collection includes many photographs from their trips to Colorado and Wyoming. Several of Lee's paintings are based on scenes from that region and highlight their trips up there. Tom Lee and El Paso builder Charles Level were close long-term friends. Their wives, Sarah Lee and Shirley Level, were also close. They vacationed together, and they served on a number of El Paso community boards. When Tom Lee was nominated for the El Paso County Historical Society's Hall of Honor, Charles Level was the one who made the nomination. And when Charles Level was inducted into the Hall of Honor, it was Tom Lee who presented the award and gave a talk about Charles Level. In his oral history interview, Tom recounted that he'd known members of the Level family for quite a few years from the Baptist church, the First Baptist Church that they all attended. But he hadn't really paid much attention to young Charles as a boy because he was a few years younger. But instead, he said of their friendship, Charles and I got to be close friends after he married Shirley and after I married Sarah. That would be in 1938. Shirley and Sarah hit it off very well and still do, as I feel about Charles. But all during the war, Charles would help me. He was doing some general contracting work and was being very successful. When I'd get these paintings done, why, he'd have his men make these nice crates and cases. Some of the times I'd carry the stuff myself on the airplane and get it back to the New York office live, and sometimes I would send it express. And of course, he and Shirley always came over to see what I was doing, on those paintings before I sent them away. And after the war, why, we had become very, very good friends. In 1944, it was Tom Lee who suggested the 4UR Dude Ranch in northern Colorado to Charles Level as a place with good trout fishing. Now, both Tom and Charles had been involved in World War II, but not as combatants. Tom Lee, of course, who was then in his 30s, was recruited as an artist, war correspondent. Charles Level, who had a game leg, as Tom Lee put it, from a childhood disease, worked as a contractor on many important defense-related construction projects. As the war in Europe was winding down, Charles Level finally had some free time to spend with his wife and two young children. The family drove from El Paso to the 4UR Guest Ranch for a month-long vacation and established ties to that place that lasted a lifetime. In preparation for this talk, I've been reading a book called This Chosen Place about Charles Level and the 4UR ranch that eventually became his. The book was written by Western writer Max Evans, and the UTEP library has Max's correspondence with Mr. Level while he was preparing the book. Charles Level came to address the writer as Old Max, which is the way he would sign his letters. and they exchanged many letters over the year or two that they worked on the book. The letters reflect a growing friendship and affection for the land in the Rocky Mountains. Now, Max died just a few weeks ago, just short of his 96th birthday. But Tom Lee and Charles Level were both native El Pasoans, and Charles had attended El Paso High with Tom's younger brother, Joe. Joe eventually became Level's right-hand man in his worldwide construction business. Tom and Charles shared a love of El Paso, but also a fondness for fly fishing and horseback expeditions into the wilderness. Tom Lee tells a story in his oral history and also in the book, A Picture Gallery. In the summer of 1950, Charles Level and I received an invitation from Charles's rugged uncle, John H. Level. He invited us to his fishing camp in Wyoming. He said he believed, after due consideration, that it was his avuncular duty to introduce us lightweight and city-bred, but well-meaning members of the younger generation to the inspiring solitudes and snowy grandeurs and damn good dry fly fishing he'd found and kept as a secret for himself on many pack trips during many summers, high in the Wind River Mountains. Charles and I flew to Rock Springs, Wyoming. John's outfitter and guide, Clem Skinner, was waiting to meet us, and he drove us up north to Pinedale. The next day, we made it to Burnt Lake in an ancient, maimed, and reluctant Army surplus truck. Then we got on horses. Clem led us up and up for 5 hours through forest primeval and to the old lion in his lair. John Level encamped on the solitudinous shores of Blue Horseshoe Lake, rimmed steep and tall with spruce and fir and the rainbows jumping. The old lion had a batch of martinis waiting, well chilled, in a snowbank close to the cook tent. We spent 2 weeks in a wilderness that looked exactly as it did when Jim Bridger first saw it, moving camp when we cared to, fishing a different lake or a different stream every day. It was better than John Level had said it would be. We came down again into the flatlands and the heat and the sand, remembering the snowy peaks and the balsam fragrance and blue water of a world sitting quiet and alone up near the sky. We talked about going back. I remember a spring morning 4 years later at El Paso. The telephone rang and it was Charles calling from Denver. "I'm sitting here looking out of a hotel window," he said. "I'm seeing mountains, great big mountains, covered with snow. Remind you of anything?" "Mount Franklin's awful dry looking this morning," I said. "Those Denver mountains, don't tell me they look a thing like that Wild Hat Pass or Timico or that big moraine where we got lost above Level Lake." "Coincidence," Charles said. "Listen, I'm about to call Clem Skinner and his boys, see if they'll pack us in when summer comes. I've been sitting here thinking about that lake over the divide, the one that's supposed to have the Goldens." "Call Clem," I said. "Let's take little old Shirley and little old Sarah." "Wah, old hoss, mountain doin's. Call all the Skinners." That summer, the Levels and Lees went to the Wind River Mountains of Wyoming. They went every year then for many years with a pack string over the snowy divide to the Golden Lakes, exploring country, finding pristine fishing waters with their friends, the Skinners of Pinedale. The Lees and Levels made many trips together to northern Colorado and the Wind River region of Wyoming for recreation in the Rockies. As Charles Level bought and expanded the 4UR Ranch, The family spent a lot of time together there, too. As Tom Lee said in his oral history interview, I remember that each summer that I was working on the King Ranch thing, why, we'd take 3 weeks or a month off with the Levels, Charles and Shirley, and go up to the Wind River Mountains in Wyoming. We'd start at Pinedale and get up to Boulder Lake, and then get on horseback and ride up into the mountains and across the divide and hunt, fish for goldens, and have a wonderful time. And that was so different from what I'd been doing, and it was in such different country, and such beautiful, wonderful, inspiring country that when I got through with the King Ranch, I already knew what I wanted to do, and that was write a novel about those high mountains. That book was released as The Primal Yoke. Charles and Shirley Level traveled widely themselves. Level's company was responsible for construction projects all over the world, the Middle East, Africa, all over North America. Often the Lees and Levels would travel together for recreation, too. Because of Tom's relationship with the Klebergs of the King Ranch, he traveled to their far-flung properties, including South America and Australia. Charles Level accompanied Lee to Argentina, where they fished in the Andes and rode horseback on the Pampas. Tom Lee said in his El Paso Historical Society speech about Level that they had leaned against the Tower of Pisa together. Charles Level owned many of Lee's paintings and commissioned a portrait of Shirley. In his office, Charles kept a picture of a Rocky Mountain waterfall. When Max Evans published the book The Chosen Place in 1999, he spoke in emotional terms of the friendship between the Lees and the Levels. Some of the stories Max documented based on interviews he did with Charles and Shirley included a description of Tom Lee fishing on horseback, and also of a picnic on a big flat rock by a mountain lake when the four all pledged to keep their homes and businesses in El Paso. When Max wrote the book, all four of the friends were still living. Now they're all gone. Tom Lee was born in 1907 and Charles Level in 1911. Charles was the first to pass in the year 2000. Tom left us soon after at age 93 in 2001. Sarah and Shirley survived their husbands, but they too passed away in the early years of the 21st century. Sarah at age 96 and Shirley at 95. However, because of the written, artistic, and photographic record left behind, the memory of their friendship still endures.